everyone, welcome to the Pacific Northwest. My name is Dena and I am a knitter in a suburb of Tacoma, Washington. I'm so glad that you're joining with me today. I am very grateful that you're spending some time with me, and I'm really excited to share with you about what I've been working on. So yes, I knit and I crochet and I collect all the beautiful yarn, and I really just love this craft and community, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you all as well. So I have my notes up, I've got all my projects around me. Let's get started. I want to start with announcing the winner of the giveaway for the 1,000 subscriber, and that is going to be Ann Neester 8970. Hi Ann, thank you so much for your comment and for subscribing, and I'm going to send off to you a couple of Crochet World magazines. I'm going to include those needle stopper things from Twice Sheared Sheep, and then a couple of other things. So if you will email me at northwestknitter25 spelled out at gmail.com, let me know what your address is and I'll get that off to you. So thank you so much for participating, everyone. Really glad that you did. All right, well, let's start with what I'm wearing. So this is my a finished object. This is called the Boxy Blue Raglan by Beth McDonald stone. And oh my gosh, I just love this. So this is exactly what I was looking for, was just an oversized sweatshirt type sweater that had this wow factor from the yarn and just fit comfortably, and I love it. Let me show you here. I ended up doing a high-low on the hem, not intentionally, but when I bound off I realized, oh, made a little shorter in the front than I did in the back, but that was fine, worked out well. This was a very easy pattern by Beth McDonald stone. She does a really good job in her patterns. There's a raglan detailing right here that continues all the way down the side. That's really cool. You can't see it in this particular yarn, but it really does create a really nice look about it. So I made this out of, I love this yarn, Metallic from Hobby Lobby. It's very warm right now. I'm very thankful I made it kind of that 3/4 length sleeve, and works out really great. Right now it is March 20th, 2026, so it is the first day of spring, but yet it's still a little chilly here in the Northwest. It's kind of a muggy, overcast day, which is, you know, fairly typical for our area. But still a little chilly in the morning, warms up during the daytime, gets chilly at night, so this works out well. It's just a beautiful, fun garment. So yeah, definitely has a ton of positive ease. So you can see here just how much is built into this pattern. But because of the way the yoke is designed, it fits really well up here around the neck and the yoke, so that when you get down here, you have that extra ease on the side. That just helps the flowiness of the garment itself. Let me just see. I can't remember how many. So I want to say there's only 3 sizes. Hang on one second. I would definitely make this again. Sorry, I'm still trying to find the sizing on here. Yeah, there are only 3 sizes. So I made the medium, so the one in the middle, and I ended up with a lot of positive ease. So definitely designed for that look. I could certainly make the smaller size, and I think it would work out just fine. I also think you could use a smaller weight yarn and get a different fit as well. So I made that on the recommended needles, which was a 4, 4.5, and a 5 millimeter. And definitely I would make this one again. I really did enjoy this. And it is a $8 pattern on Ravelry. Beth McDonald Stone does a podcast about every 2 weeks about her designs and all that she's been working on. I really enjoy watching her. She's very gifted at teaching, sharing her thoughts and perspective on things. She's been a knitwear designer for a very long time, and she is very active and producing a lot of different techniques as well as patterns throughout the year. So she's definitely one to watch if you're interested. I'll link her down below in the description box. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Okay, finished objects. So Pinterest kind of got me. I was scrolling through Pinterest one day and I saw this adorable pattern. And it was basically making hats for eggs. And I could not resist. So it's called the Easter Egg Mini Lamb Hat. And here's the picture on the back. Isn't that just so cute? So this is a free pattern. So if you go to this on Ravelry, you can download the pattern and it's free. And so you make it with like fingering weight or DK weight yarn. It's a crochet pattern on a 3.75 millimeter needle. I pulled some scraps out of my box, and so instead of pulling DK or fingering, I pulled a worsted weight, and this is what I ended up with. So it came up much bigger than the pattern suggested, because I had gone up a yarn weight size. And so because of that, of course, it doesn't fit a standard size egg. So I went on Amazon and I purchased these wooden larger eggs. I suppose they could be goose eggs, and was able to put my little hat in it. I fully intended to make more of these and just didn't get around to it. But with this large egg and the color of it, it looks like a face. So like you could certainly turn this into a doll if you wanted with a cute little hat, but that was not my intent. So yeah, I definitely love the whole concept of this. Super easy to make. I think it took me a few hours to put together. So fun. I love that in the pattern, in the ears, she put different like fabric. See that little different fabric in there? I just think that's adorable. I don't have any fabric, and you wouldn't need to sew these. I believe in the pattern it suggests that you can just glue them in. So if I have some fabric or something that comes down the road, I will probably end up doing that and just gluing them in place. You don't have to sew them in. You certainly could, but I thought that was just kind of a unique technique. You could also use some felt or whatever to go in there. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself. I couldn't resist. But could you imagine making a larger hat like this for a youngster? Oh my goodness, that would be so fun. I don't know if I have the skills to modify it to make it bigger, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of it. It's just popcorn stitches. This is Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn, Multis or something like that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that pattern. So free pattern on Ravelry if you're interested. The next thing I'm going to talk about as far as finished objects go is that I made a bag out of this Crochet World magazine, and in here is one of their a bag, and they call it a market bag. Let's see if I can do this without showing you the pattern. So I thought, oh, that looks like a fun pattern to do, and it's really cool. I really struggle with making bags, crochet bags, because I find that the yarn I'm using is too stretchy, and so that I end up with kind of something I'm not looking for, and then or it's just not the right concept. When I was at Value Village, in the craft section, they had two t-shirt weight yarns that they were selling, and I thought, oh, those would be fun to kind of play with and see what I can do. And so it looks like this really kind of bulky t-shirt weight yarn, and it is called rainbow t-shirt yarn, 100% cotton. I don't know if you can get this anymore, but they had 2 balls of this in 2 different colors. So they had the green and then this tealy blue. And so I made the bag, and I was just about to finish up and realized I didn't have enough to finish it all the way around. So I picked up some other t-shirt yarn that I had in stash and finished it with this purple. Again, it works really well as a very large bag that you can certainly throw things in and tote with, but you're starting with a very heavy bag to begin with, because this yarn is weighty. So you have a weighty bag, you put more weight into it, it's just going to make it a heavy bag. So again, I don't know if I'm going to use this, but I was just really intrigued by the yarn and wanted to see how it worked up for bags. This yarn, the rainbow yarn, is definitely sturdier and less stretchy than this purple yarn, which I believe is from Hobby Lobby. It's their t-shirt yarn, and this one's a little bit stretchier. I could have gone down a hook size for this. So this is made with they're actually, in the pattern, they're recommending the Hobby Lobby ribbon yarn, which is this purple, and a 10mm crochet hook. So this was fairly easy to put together. These handles I picked up on Amazon. They kind of get a little wonky here, so you kind of have to adjust them, but enjoyable pattern. I had fun putting together. I don't know if I'll use it, but I enjoy the process of learning new techniques and things. But yeah, very large bag. And now that I've shown you, I can use this. And Anne, I'm going to add this to your gift away as well, because I don't really have anything else in that one that I was planning to make. So enjoyable. Pattern was self-explanatory. Offers some different textures on front posts, back posts, and creating kind of the texture throughout the bag. So very worthwhile if you want to learn a new technique of some sort. So would recommend the pattern. Don't know if I'd make it again, but there you go. That's called the Grab and Go Bag by Karne Barnes, out of the Crochet World magazine, dated August of 2025. Yeah. All right. I'm going to talk about this leaf placemat. So my niece, Camila, hi Camila, is getting married. And she wanted me to crochet her some placemats. And so I was like, okay, I like that. I like that idea. But again, I want to learn how to do new things and challenge myself. I think she would like something more simple. So I don't intend on giving her this placemat. I was looking on, I think Pinterest. I think I started on YouTube and I put in like placemat tutorials, so that way I could just have a free pattern and not have to purchase anything. Then I went to, I think, Pinterest and looked there, and was offered up this pattern called Leaf Placemat by wowcrochet.com. And I thought that was so cool. Look at the texture in that. And so I made one. This is still wet, it's still blocking out. It's a very weighty mat, placemat. Again, I'm trying to learn how to use different types of fiber for bags or placemats or things like that that would be worthwhile, and something that I would want to use on a regular basis. But isn't that cute? Very self-explanatory pattern. They did a great job of explaining instructions. And so you start in the middle leaf, then you branch out and do these two. You come back around and you pick up and do the other two, and then you come back around and you finish off with the stem that just curls in on itself. So it's like I didn't do anything really special outside of just kind of helping it fixture that. So this was really enjoyable. Again, still damp front and needs to finish blocking out. And I made that out of, sorry for the crinkle. I was gonna cut this down so I didn't have to make it so loud. I made it out of a 2mm cord, a macrame cord that I picked up from Amazon. So that's what it looks like, if you can see that. And it's just this cord. Was easy to work with. I did use a very small hook size. So it was really, it was tight fit to get in there, and of course it was tiring for my arm and my hand, so I had to like take several breaks as I was working on it. Let me see if I can remember what the hook size was. This hook size was a 3.5mm, and I used not quite 2 of these, so I would say 1 1/4 to 1/2 of this cord. So I do like this cord. The thickness of it worked out really well for the placemat, and so I'm really excited to try this other one that I picked up from the same, I don't know. I don't know if they're the same person or not. Anyway, so this I picked up, the leaf placemat I picked up on Etsy. I'll link it below if you're interested in picking up the pattern. I don't remember how much I paid for it. And at the same time, I found this placemat, and I believe it's a different, yep, it's a different person. This is by Pulcino Handmade, Pulcino. And I found this one too on Etsy. And this, I believe you start with a, like a wooden or a plastic ring of some sort, and then you branch out from there. So I'm really excited to try this one, and I really love the look of it. So I'm gonna try that too with the same cord that I used in the other one, and that should help me make a decision about placemats for my niece and her wedding. So yeah, excited about that. Okay, next I'm gonna talk about the Gigi cardigan, and that's right here. This is a pattern by Knitty McPurly, or Devon, from Knitty McPurly. And I really enjoyed making this. I finished, it was off my needles for several months, but then when I tried it on, I realized the neck, as written in the pattern, was just too wide. It was bulky and weird and didn't sit very well. So it sat for a very long time because I didn't want to go back and fix it. So you knit the body back and forth, and then you add your, you add the hem and the button band, the collar, afterwards. So it's a Raglan style, very easy to make, and it was very enjoyable. So the collar, like I mentioned in the pattern, and you can even see it in the pictures, and I'll see if I can remember, I'll add a picture of the Gigi cardigan. She has you pick up two for every 3 stitches, and so that's what I did. And like I said, it was just so wide and it didn't sit the way I was hoping it to. So I just went back in, I picked up quite a few, probably about half the amount, like every other stitch, and just did a basic you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, not stockinette, but garter stitch pattern. In her in the directions, and I don't know if you can see it on the hem, this is kind of the directions that you have that you're going to be doing for the collar as well. And it's basically ribbing, but you're working it sideways, where you pick up, go back, you're going to do your ribbing, come back with the ribbing and pick up, and you do that back and forth all the way down. And so it does create the height and the nice dimensions, but it just didn't, it wasn't what I was looking for. So this fits much better. This is a little bit on the small size for me, so I may end up gifting this to someone or waiting until it fits me a little bit better. But yeah, I can now wash and take that one down into my room for putting in rotation. This is made out of Joann's something party yarn. Hang on, let me pull it up in my Ravelry account. So I don't know if you can get the yarn anymore because it was from Joann's specifically. And they have since gone out of business. And I know Michael's has picked up some of their yarn, but I don't know if they've... here it is. If they picked up everything. So Big Twist Party is what it's called. So it's a worsted weight yarn. It is made on a 4mm needle. And yeah, it was an enjoyable knit. I really liked it. So you can find Knitty McPurly. You can find her stuff on Ravelry, but to go purchase it, you go to her website and then you can get it there. So really enjoyed that. All right. Okay, so let's talk about new cast-ons. So, you know, I do have the Whip Smackdown, and I have a few things that I'll share about that. So, but I cannot help myself. I want to make all the things. Do any of you have that problem where you want to make everything? What do you do to encourage yourself to finish what you've started rather than casting on the new shiny object? Or do you just cast on the new shiny object and get back to the whips later? That's typically what I end up doing, is that I see it, or I have a yarn that inspires me and I want to make the thing. So that's where I'm at with that. So I had shared with you previously that I was working on the Jaunty by Andrea Mowry. Well, I realized at a certain point that I didn't have enough yarn for the size that I was looking for. So I got to the halfway point. I looked at where I was at, and it just wasn't big enough. Like, I wanted a bigger shawl that wrapped and all of that, and it just was not coming together. So I ended up frogging it. And I went into Ravelry to just decide, well, what do I want to use this yarn for, and how do I want to go about that? So as I was looking and searching, I came across the Mooncat shawl. And this is by Kelly McClure, and Kelly McClure is the designer of the sockhead slouch hat. And so this is a beautiful, with a bunch of textured shawl, and you can do it with a fade fingering weight yarn. You could do it with an advent. That would all be beautiful as well. So I saw this and I went, well, you know, if I don't have enough yarn to finish it, I can always add like a black yarn to get the effect that I'm looking for. So I did cast that on, and I got quite a bit of ways. This is all crammed on my needles, and of course I'm halfway through a row, so it's not going to look very good. But I'm really excited about it. And this is, yes, this is the right side. Let me pull that up. So here's the wrong side. Here's the right side. So you can see here that I've gotten quite a bit done. So you start way down here, and you start with this cast on tab edge that actually starts you up with the ribbing that continues throughout the entire shawl on the side. It's quite a fascinating technique for cast on that does create that ribbing that goes all the way through. So very genius pattern, and how Kelly put that together. I just thought that was fascinating. So this is the Joann's yarn called something Reverb, Big Twist Reverb. So again, I don't know if you can get this yarn or not. Someone mentioned they saw it at Michael's, and it creates this animal print effect that I just think is so cool. The colorway for this is teal, blue, pink, and I was saying before that I really don't see the teal or the blue, but that's the colorway. And yeah, so I'm so excited about that. So in the in the pattern. So like I said, if I run out of the yarn kind of up here and I want to finish it off, I can just add some black yarn for this lace border that I think be really cool. And then I could even finish it off with like a pink maybe. But yeah, I really enjoy this pattern. Very well written. You do have some lace technique in there. I don't enjoy lace because I find it's hard on my hands just because you're knitting those two together. But you're only doing one row of that knit two together, and then you go back to garter stitch rows in between, and so you're not, it's not like you're doing lace throughout the entire thing. So very enjoyable pattern. I really like that. This is done on a 4.5mm needle, and it's working out quite nicely. That has been my work knitting project on the side, so I've enjoyed that one as well. And as I was working on another project, I realized I am not enjoying this. I don't enjoy working on this, and that was the fox paws. Very intriguing. I really enjoyed learning how to knit it and put it together. I really enjoyed the class that I attended at the Red Alder Fiber Festival with Xandy Peters in learning the technique, and it's really, I'm glad that I learned it, but I was not enjoying this process. And I was watching Rachel is knitting, and she's at the end of her podcast, she always ends with, you know, if it's not bringing you joy, stop working on it, put it down. And I was like, yes, I like that. So I stopped and I frogged it, but I was inspired by the yarn, and I really wanted a baby blanket out of that yarn. So I picked up the Northeasterly blanket. The Northeasterly is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's just these beautiful panels of this arrow technique, and you join as you go, and it's a lovely, lovely pattern. Didn't take long for me to memorize it. When I was looking at the project pages, I liked the ones where you had the solids and the same width of the arrows rather than being different sizes. I also liked the one where it was a main color with the colored arrows in between. I thought that one was cool as well, but I could not resist turning that into this baby blanket with those colors that I had. So this is what I have so far. Isn't that darling? It's just such a cute baby blanket. I cannot wait to finish it. It's adorable. So these are all 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8. All 8 of the colors of this Bella Coco DK Confections colorways that I have. And so I've been working on just incorporating them throughout the blanket. And I believe this is going to be the width. It's not going to be, you know, it's a baby blanket. It's not meant to be huge. So this will be the width, and I'll just go back and forth until I run out of the colors. But it's just so adorable. Oh, I love it. This yarn is like super squishy, cozy, soft. It's delightful. So this is the upside down Bella Coco Crochet Confection DK. Bella Coco is a crocheter, and she is the maker of Crochet Society. And Crochet Society is a subscription box, and I subscribed to them several years ago and got a few of their boxes. Enjoyed the boxes, but ultimately found that I didn't really use the yarn with the patterns that were sent. I ended up getting a bunch of crochet hooks that I like. I use them. And just other things that it just weren't for me. So a good subscription box if you're looking for a crocheted one. Lots of variation in the patterns that were sent in the yarn that you get. But I find that I would just prefer to have the yarn and whatnot. Uh-oh, I dropped a stitch. I gotta fix that. It's okay, I'll fix it. And so yeah, I found that I would have preferred to, I preferred not to have the subscription box, so I did cancel it after a few months. So nothing against the box itself, it just wasn't something that I would use regularly. And so I found that a lot of the yarn just kind of sits in my stash until I find a project I would prefer to make with it. That's all. So yeah. So that's the Northeasterly blanket by Skeinanigans. I think that's how you say it. Very cute name. And then couldn't help myself to continue casting on new things. And so there was a sale by, I believe Alicia Plummer was having a sale on her patterns, I think. I think that's what got me prompted into looking at working on, or where I went and I purchased a bunch of her patterns. So I started working on the Gale. So this is a bulky weight pattern, and it's called the Gale, and it has this texturing throughout it. So it's a poncho with some texture in it. And so I had this bulky weight yarn that was sitting, and I'm like, ooh, I really want to cast something on with that. Ugh. So I omitted the texture pattern in that was recommended and just did plain back and forth knitting. And so I chose Caron's Latte Cakes in the color Red Macaroon and cast that on. And this one, you knit 2 panels and then seam it together. And so I'm knitting mine 2 at a time. You'll notice that the stripes don't match up. I was going for that and then realized after a while, oh, that's not going to work out. So instead, what I'm trying to do is at least get the stripes to match, like this. There's a line for the stripe, even though the colors don't match up. I'm working on at least doing that much so that I'm getting the stripes. They'll be offset stripes, but they'll be at the same level. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but Caron Latte Cakes are just, they're delightfully, deliciously soft, and just, I love them. It has this halo effect on it. This is the colorway here. So it's just corals and browns and tans. This is the colorway Red Macaroon. And this is 58% acrylic and 52% nylon. Love it. I did learn though that with a Caron cake you cannot put it in the dryer. My son, I had made him, I forget what it was, but it was like a cape type thing, and we put it in the washer and the dryer, and it really mashes it down, and I don't want to say felts it, but that's kind of what it looks like. It's not as fluffy and luscious. So if you're gonna do Caron cakes, hand wash, lay flat for sure. So be careful about that. So yeah, that's the Gale. I'm excited for that. I like the texture that's built into the pattern, but for the Caron cakes plus the striping in there, I thought it was just, you would lose the texture with that added fluff. So I didn't want to do the extra work if it wasn't really necessary. And of course, as I was working on one of my whips from the Whip Smackdown. So the Whip Smackdown is me getting after anything that I started back in 2025 and older, and getting on top of those. When I initially looked at everything, I had 37 whips. So since then, I've been able to frog or finish a few. And so as I was working on one of my whips, I decided to frog it. And then I just loved the yarn I had going on that I wanted to start something with that yarn. So I cast on the Whidbey bag. So initially this project was the Night Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry, and it was beautiful. But I had a DK weight advent calendar yarn, and was using that. It was working great until I ran out of the minis that went along with the full skein. So I started adding other yarns in there to mix it together, and it looked okay, but then I realized at a certain point that I wasn't enjoying it. So, like Rachel says, if it's not bringing you joy, just stop working on it. This craft is a slow craft. You should work on things that you enjoy. You don't have to finish something just because you started it. So I was encouraged because in my Ravelry cart, I had a bunch of woolen pine patterns. And if you have so many patterns that you get from them, you get like a 20% discount. So I went for it because I really wanted the, now I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. So good. I really wanted the, let's see if I can find it now that I can't think of the name. Sea glass sweater. So that was one in there. The sea glass sweater along with the extra light bright. I really loved how they had those, the marling and the way the yarns come together for both of those. And so the Whidbey bag was one that I added to the bundle as well. And so this is what the Whidbey bag looks like. So the Whidbey bag, you start at the top, work your way down, and you start by building up this area that the cord will sit in. And so you have bag here. So up here at the top, you have this area that you knit and you fold over, you tack it down, and it creates a space for the cords to go through. And so this is like a backpack style bag. I don't know if I'll make it into a backpack or if I'll make it a bit shorter and just make it a drawstring bag and not, you know, attach it. And what you do then is you basically knit the bag, and then you go back through with your needles and you pick up and weave in the color changes. I'm not doing the weave in. Instead, what I'm doing is the sea glass sweater technique where you have the color work mixed in. And so this, I'm not very far on this, but this is what I've got so far. So I finished the cord, the placement where the cord goes, and that's up here. And then I started the color work with the yarn. And this was an Advent yarn, so it's very Christmassy, and I love it. I think it's so cute. What I think I might do is do like a few rows of the color work section and then go back to the green and make the rest of the bag in the green and maybe finish off with the color work at the bottom. Haven't quite decided on all of those things, but this has been fun to work on, and learning how to do kind of that section, you know, that little placement for the cord to go through was kind of interesting as well. So if you've been here long enough, you know I enjoy, it's hard to see that color work, but I really enjoy learning new techniques. So that was really fun as well. So far, enjoying that. The pattern is very straightforward and self-explanatory. I haven't had a problem with it whatsoever, so I would recommend that pattern for you if you're interested. And then, you know, go check out the rest of them. Get a discount on their other patterns as well. Did I say who they were from? Woolen Pine, if I didn't say that earlier. So Woolen Pine is the pattern designer, and they have a ton of beautiful patterns. All right. So I have one more new cast on. It's a crochet pattern. So if you have a crochet pattern, is it a cast on or is it chain up, or how do you say that you started the project? You know, is it still considered a cast on even though you're not doing the, anyway, cast on method? So I was inspired again by Pinterest. I should just not go on Pinterest because it's gonna have me purchase patterns and things like that. But I was looking on Pinterest for whatever reason. I think I was just scrolling, and I came across this linen leaf top. It has this beautiful texture throughout. This is a crochet pattern with fingering weight yarn. and it's gorgeous. So I started it, I cast it on with the recommended needle size, and I got going, and I was like super excited, and that's where I got, and I realized, this is a little smaller than I was anticipating. I thought, I don't think that's quite what I'm going for. And so I hit the point where they want you to level off for the shoulders up here. And I thought, you know, that's not quite the size. And I know it'll block out a little bit, but not a ton. So I decided to go up a hook size. So this is a 3.5 millimeter. And so I cast on with a 4.5. And so with the 4.5, I'm not too far along, but that's where I'm at. And it is quite a bit bigger already in comparison to the sizes. And so it's working out great. And so I'm making this with the Alexandra hand-dyed yarn that I picked up at the Red Alder Fiber Festival. Oh, here we go. So Alexandra, the Art of Yarn. This is in her Sun River base, and the colorway is magenta. Sorry. And I have really enjoyed this. So I'm super excited about finishing this to see how it works up. I had made that shawl out of fingering weight yarn and really liked the fabric that was giving me. A lot of times with crochet patterns, you use a lot more yarn, and the garment or the project is definitely bulkier by the time you finish it. But I'd never made a garment with fingering weight before, and so I'm excited to see how that turns out. I'll share that with you. While I was on this person's Ravelry site, I came across the mint leaf top as well. So I'm excited to make this one. And I love the texture in that top as well. So I'm excited to see and get started on both of those. All right, that should be it for new cast-ons. Yes. All right, so I want to update you on the Signa sweater. The Signa. Oh my goodness, this pattern is amazing. I cannot say enough about this pattern. The Signa is by Helene Skov. It's this gorgeous sweater made out of teeny tiny triangles. And I'm making mine out of the row 1 subscription that I've been receiving. And the pattern is phenomenal. You get a schematic on how to put it together. The directions are very clear. You can go in and mark off how far along you are, and that's as far as I've gotten. I still have quite a ways to go. There are a total of like 380 triangles altogether. With each row 1 mini skein, they're 10-gram mini skeins, I can get 7 triangles from each of those. And this, let me see if I can figure out how I can show you, is what I have. So this is kind of the neckline up here. So it sits like that. Then this goes over your shoulder, like that. And this is where I was the last time you saw this. So I kind of finished up a few more of the triangles in the front and then did quite a few in the back. But isn't that amazing? These triangles, you knit and you pick up as you, and you join as you go. So you don't have a lot of, like you're not seaming a bunch of triangles together in the end, but you're just knitting them, picking up as you go. Remember, when you're doing projects like this and scrappy projects, there are a ton of ends to weave in. I like scrappy projects, but weaving in ends is like, ugh. But if you do it as you go, it's more enjoyable than you're not sitting in the end trying to weave in all these yarns together. And yeah, I don't have any intention. Oh, here's the back in case you want to see. I don't have any intentions with the color. I'm just kind of looking at the section I'm working on and trying and choosing colors based on that. And then with the leftovers, which I only have like a teeny little bit left, I'm adding those to a fingering weight jelly roll blanket. So I've started that as well. I have a jelly roll that I'm working on that's DK weight. It has been so fun, I gotta say. The join as you go method in the jelly roll that I've been working on, I mentioned this before, I've done a 2-stitch I-cord edge on each side and then I sew them together at the end. But when I was working on the Northeasterly blanket, the join is actually pretty nice. So if you're looking for a jelly roll with a really nice join as you go method, that's certainly something you could consider. So yeah, I really have enjoyed working on the Northeasterly and learning that new method. So the last thing I want to show you is, because I did put some work into this, is the Ice Pancakes by Chris Plateau. And the Ice Pancakes, sorry I don't have a picture with me, is a, what do you call that? Assigned pooling pattern. And assigned pooling is when your yarn has these little blips of color that are in one section of the skein. So let me show you. So if you get yarn like this, and there's only like sections where there's color, then if you worked on a sock, it would kind of come up in this weird stripy, and it would pool in certain places. And so what this pattern does is it takes those blips of color and uses a patterning texture that clumps them together. And so this is called the Ice Pancakes shawl. And here's where those blips of colors come in. And you do this little, I forget what they call it in the pattern, this little texturing technique. And so it looks like lilies on a lake. I just think that is the coolest thing. So I've really enjoyed putting this together. And you do a blip when that color change comes up, you do the blip and you move on. And so yeah, you get kind of weird clustering going on, but that's part of the charm and interest factor in this particular pattern. So I've really enjoyed working on that as well. And this pattern I chose over some of the others because it had kind of this, it looks like a lace detail at the end. That's really neat. So an update on my whip smackdown. So I started the year with 37 whips. I am now down to 26. So I have frogged or finished 11 projects starting in January. That's not bad, right? My goal is at least to do 2 a month, because that will at least help me finish 24, and that will definitely get those finished out. So I think by the end of next year, like come December, I will frog anything that I haven't finished because they've been lingering for quite some time. With it being the 1st of April, I had divvied out my projects. So I had made a list. So I divvied out my projects and I kind of assigned them a season to work on. So since it's spring, it's now time to put away the blue projects and pull out the spring ones, which are the green. And so I divvied them up just to make it a little bit more palatable, or a little less overwhelming that I had all these whips. So I will say that the ones I deemed as almost done category, which are the pinks, I finished all of those. So I'm very thankful for having kind of one category down. So I'll shift over winter projects, pull out my spring projects. The spring ones will have some lighter garments for the summertime. So I would like to get those finished and move forward with that. So I'm really excited to get going on my whip smackdown. So I do not have my Knitted McPurly or my Knitted Butterfly subscriptions come through yet, so I'll share that with you next time. But I'm so glad that you spent some time with me today. Please comment below and let me know, what do you do when you want to cast on everything? How do you stop yourself? Do you stop yourself? Do you just go for it and continue to buy all the patterns? I'm really enjoying my time with you. I hope you are too. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.